Hello and welcome, WholeOfEngland here, and today we are taking another look at a user replay. This time is from Colonel Chris, and he is in his Tier 8 American battleship, the North Carolina. Now, as you've probably, you could tell from the title, this is going to be primarily about the AA rating and generally the performance of the AA from this replay. Now, obviously the North Carolina is, pretty well known for having some pretty good AAs when you've got the maxed out hull, or at least the upgraded hull. You've got an AA rating of 91, which is pretty effective against planes, as it turns out. And overall, we are going to see that through this replay. Now, throughout this, I am also going to have a few, I guess, sort of tips here as well, because there are a few things that I noticed that he could probably improve on, or just generally sort of good advice for anyone else playing the game if they aren't aware, or just generally some good tips. Now, I've played quite a few games now with Chris through Discord and just generally in the clan, and honestly, I don't think he really needs these tips anymore because, when I play with him, he plays incredibly well. So it's more just a fact of these are going to be tips that are just generally for everyone. Now, the first one here is about actually launching the fighter consumable. So this obviously only applies to certain ships that actually can have this, but it's just a fact of really knowing when to use it. So one thing I see in this replay, I've not really seen Chris use this again, really, because I've not played with him while he's playing in the ship or other ships with actual fighters, and that is basically that, is you're effectively just launching it too early or when you don't really need to. So, for example, here is possibly a time where you would want to launch it, but it's basically when you want to launch these is when you are basically certain that you're going to have a carrier coming towards you. So let's say you've got these torpedo bombers. At the moment they're currently going for the Leander, but let's say there wasn't a Leander there and you could see it sort of coming towards you. Now, what you'd probably want to do is obviously you want to wait for it to, obviously commit to coming towards you. And at that point, what you're going to want to do is, ooh, that was quite a nasty hit there, is basically just sort of slow down and start turning into the planes, because what this does, it allows you to have a slightly tighter turning circle, and you can get in, point your nose in, and that basically means they've got a much less chance of being able to hit you with multiple torpedoes, because there's a good chance you may be able to get in through between them or only just really hit one of them. And obviously at that point, that's where you're going to want to drop the fighters as well when they're coming in, because by the time they've come over, let's say they've got like a full squadron here, then you're going to want to sort of drop those fighters, and once they've sort of done their run, they're then going to follow up and then start taking out more of the torpedo bombers. It's basically just sort of to deter a carrier player from coming in from a second run. So, for example, this Shikaku here, you could see he's got quite a few drops worth of planes. Now, because these drop 2 at a time, let's say you've got some torpedo squadrons where they've got, say, six torpedo bombers left, then obviously you're definitely going to want to drop a fighter, because that's when they are going to be coming in and doing their, their second drop. So that's going to really put them off, or just stop them in general by taking them out. And really, that's just sort of when you really want to use it, because obviously that's when you're going to be taking the most damage, rather than in this replay. It's just generally what I sort of took from it and thought, okay, it's probably a good time to really explain, or just a bit of advice on how best to utilize the fighter consumable. Now, as well as that, let's say you've got, say, these torpedo bombers coming in, and there's only a single drop worth of bombers there. Then, obviously, at that point, you also probably wouldn't want to bother with the fighter, because at the end of the day, they're just going to come in. They're not really going to care about those last two. So it's mainly when you've got like a full sort of squadron coming towards you when they're going to have the, I guess, most potential damage. So here again, you can see they're flying away at the moment. So it's not really worth launching them at the moment. It's only when they sort of come in. But that really sort of covers it there. So sorry that probably took quite a long time to explain, but it was just I wanted to, I guess, give in the best detail that sort of advice there. And there we go. So Chris does manage to get his first kill. So whilst I've been, I guess, rambling on about the consumable, is that yeah, he's already managed to take out 16 of these planes, and they've not even been attacking him yet. Most of the damage he's actually been taking has actually been from other ships, and unfortunately has been a few times where he has been sort of broadside, where he's been trying to maneuver away, and obviously the Colorado, and I think it was actually, yeah, it was just another Colorado, made the most of the opportunity that he provided them. Now, obviously, North Carolina has got some incredibly strong guns, and I mean, you're about to see, but they have got 3 triple 406mm, which means, you know, they're not really to be messed with, because they can obviously overmatch, and there we go, he just gets a devastating strike, 27k on that De Grassa, so very, very nice shot there, and so yeah, these are very good. So if you've got any, say, battleships with a 27mm bow, then you are going to be able to overmatch it in this thing, so it is definitely quite a formidable ship. And unfortunately that Shikaku is just out of his range, so it's now just a fact of really getting it across. Now, I mean, not really many people have died so far. I mean, at the moment it's just a fact of a lot of the people on the top left of the map that you can currently see are going to be a bit preoccupied, as well as the CV is going to be there too, because you can currently see there is a Kagero that is currently capping and now obviously distracting the rest of the team, so anyone that was holding a flank there, a lot of them are now having to head back, which is providing a very good distraction. And you'll see that definitely had some effect later on in the game, as you will see by the end result. I mean, there's no really planes at the moment. They've flown off, so I mean, there's not much for his AA to do, and unfortunately nothing else is spotted at the moment. So it's just a fact of Chris does need to start heading forward and just re-manoeuvring and repositioning to get in a better position to shoot people. And yep, there we go, the Colorado is there and going kind of slow, but you're going to see how much these shells can actually do. I mean, well, you already saw with the Grass, but I mean, going against enemy battleships, they do there we go, 3 penetrations, they can do stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, this game, a lot of the ships that were running, really, it's meaning that he can't really get too many, I guess, he hasn't had too many opportunities to actually shoot, I guess, and there's not been too much HP to go against. So I mean, at the moment it's just a fact of what he's being shown is just he's firing at. So I mean, very good here. So he is, you know, he can still shoot the Colorado, but obviously sees there's a destroyer there and managed to get 3 overpens, which, I mean, obviously overpens, let's say on a cruiser, are going to be pretty awful because, you know, it's like you go, oh, I've got overpens sort of thing. However, when you're going against destroyers, they're actually really good because obviously you know, overmatch their armor goes straight through. That's still going to do like $1,000, depending on how much your max damage per shell is. But I mean, if you're getting a load of overpens with AP, then that is going to be really good. Obviously, you know, if you're in a battleship like this, you're not really going to have high explosive loaded too often, unless you're having really no luck with penetrating ships. So I mean, having those overpens are going to be quite good because, as you say, you saw there that did 3k to a destroyer, which is quite a lot to a DD. But I mean, as I say, these are also very powerful guns, so he's going to be sticking with AP because you just saw there did manage to knock out another few thousand HP as well as take out the Colorado's guns. And yeah, at the moment, obviously, he's in division with 2 other destroyers here who are also in the same clan, the Benson and in the Z23, meaning, you know, this Colorado isn't going to be staying alive for too much longer. Now, more planes are coming in here, and I mean, it's probably in the Benson's interest here as well as probably the Z23's, but he's probably got more pressing issues at the moment with the Colorado here. But to get near to the North Carolina, because that's what's going to give you the most support here. I mean, it seems they did a drop and then just ran off, so I mean that's actually quite a good strat there because it's made Chris actually pop his consumable there when they were coming in, and yeah, that's now going to be sort of, I guess, cooling off because it's only going to have another 30 seconds of action time, meaning by the time he comes for another run, that's it, he's going to be dead. And well, thankfully one of those torpedoes did manage to score, so it means Chris can just finish this guy off, gets his second kill, and that's basically this flank secured, with the only thing there's going to be a problem with the Akatsuki, and you can see the friendly Shikaku is now looking and hunting down the Akatsuki, meaning it is basically safe to start pushing down and try and get the cap. Unfortunately, because, as I said earlier, that Akatsuki that was, or was it the Akatsuki or was it the Kagero? I'm not entirely sure. But whichever destroyer it was that was sitting in the cap at the time, I mean, looks like they've been taken out, so yeah, it could have actually been this destroyer, sorry. But those in the cap, obviously, took a lot of the attention away from the flank on the left, meaning they had to go back, and you can currently see the enemy team is pushing really hard, and they have really secured their position. And it's not looking too good, as you know. They're pushing quite well. Yeah, there you go. The Perth's just taken out of Tallinn, knocking the friendly team down even more. So a lot more relies on Chris and his teammate in the Benson, who's currently taking a real beating from the enemy Shikaku, so leaving him on 2,000 HP. But he does manage to get a bit of payback on the Shikaku and deal a Citadel. Thankfully, he's also well within range here, and it's just a fact of, you know, Here this is what's causing the most issues at the moment with the Shikaku. So it's just the fact just keep on pressing on him and getting shots. So I mean, if you can try and get another Citadel, then that would be quite good. Because I mean, once you've taken out the carrier, that's going to mean the Benson's going to have a lot more free reign in terms of what he can do. But unfortunately, the Benson has already been taking quite a lot of damage, so he does only really need a single hit, and then he's dead. Unfortunately, the Shikaku did start turning out, meaning he didn't manage to get any hits, and yeah, it's going to be just generally quite hard to get him because there's not going to be much spotting him once the friendly carrier goes away. So it's just going to be a fact of instead shooting at what he can effectively as a shot at. Now, yeah, Shikaku's going in, I'm assuming, for a blind fire there, so does manage to miss, thankfully, so I mean, he's safe in his smoke there. But you can see now, obviously, it's like, oh, we've got 2 ships coming over here, and a lot of that force, which is already, I guess, they've made quite a lot of ground, meaning they can afford to start turning back and defending the cap. So Colorado's over there, the Fuso as well, which has got incredibly long range, is also coming in as well as an enemy Leon. And then obviously they're also going to have the carrier to provide even more support to them, so it's just generally going to be a tough situation. Yep, just as I said, here come enemy torpedo planes coming in, and yeah, they are going to cause an issue. So here is where it would be very good to drop your Consumable, because they're coming in, and as you can currently see, they've got an entire squadron there, meaning you can fire his torpedoes, go away for a little bit, turn around, and then come in for another drop. And unfortunately, these are Shikaku torpedoes doing quite a lot of damage, meaning it is going to be not too long until he comes for another run. So yeah, you can currently see these are coming in again, and almost certainly going to be able to get another drop. And there we go, just as this was happening, managed to get his AA award here, so AA Defense Expert, and that gives him, wow, yeah, he just knocked out a load of them, but unfortunately does manage to get another torpedo hit, but Chris does manage to evade one of them, so still has a bit of HP, and that brings his total number of planes down to 43. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention here is the fact of going for targets, I guess, that you can be most effective at. So you can currently see the Colorado's giving him a broadside and his shells are loaded, and the Perth over there has currently got torpedo movements coming in. I mean, this is the only thing I guess I had to, critique so much in this replay, was the fact of, you can see the torpedo bombers were coming in, and torpedoes dropped, and yeah, it was basically a confirmed kill there, whereas the Colorado, who had 39 HP, that could have been a pretty devastating, maybe 20,000 HP salvo he could have gotten his broadside there, which would have been, I guess, a lot more effective, and probably could have been just generally, it could have, if he could have taken out a Colorado, that would have at least given the Benson a bit of a better chance over him. I mean, obviously he's being spotted, but I mean, if he could take out the Colorado, that would mean there'd be nothing shooting at the Benson. That would have been a fact of just going to continue capping, and then I guess keep each other's AA together. So I mean, obviously there is still a broadside that you can take here, to see how much damage it can do if he gets a good amount of hits here. Those going in now, and unfortunately does get 3 overpens there, so does only do just under 4,000 damage. But I mean, it's just generally, that was just another real point I wanted to put up with his replay. But unfortunately here, obviously, it's just the team is too thinly spread out at the moment now, which is quite sad. So this is sealing the fate of the game. And yeah, obviously getting a healing, because it's a fact of more planes coming in, and that's going to be quite bad. However, you can currently see he's got an absolute monstrous amount of plane kills here. So if you could actually go for an AA build or something, it's definitely worth thinking about, because I mean, at the moment, 54 planes for a carrier at the same tier as yourself is very good indeed. I mean, obviously he has been focused quite a bit here, and unfortunately this is going to be a kill, and there we go. Here, it's just been knocked out. So I mean, with an AA build, that is going to, you could probably get that up to 70 or something in this game. So definitely something pretty crazy there. But yeah, that means there's only now the carrier left, and that is basically the end of the game. Now go over to the end results screen here, and so currently see 111,000 damage, so very good, with 3 Citadel hits and only 33 hits as well, which is really quite good. And 59 aircraft shot down, so obviously the AA award there, as well as the devastating strike on that digress. And overall, just a very, very good score. So, as I say, I mean, since playing with him more recently, it's just been a fact of, he doesn't really need the feedback so much, because he's definitely improved and is just overall just quite a good player. So, these tips here are more just things to, I guess, if you're new to the game sort of thing, and you're still trying to learn, etc. Those are just a couple of tips, I guess, to take next time you're playing and you come into some of these situations, then just sort of will help you in the future. But yeah, so overall, very good score there. And we also have the actual team result here. And obviously, he comes top of the team. I mean, 59 plane kills as well as the three actual ship kills. Overall, that's just very, very good indeed. And considering he's on the actual losing side here, it's just overall more impressive when you consider that he's actually above most of the enemy team in terms of base XP. So definitely a really good play there. It was just those couple of things I wanted to, I guess, bring up just for any of the newer players that wanted to, I guess, really learn. So that is it from this replay. I hope you found it enjoying. Well, I hope you found it enjoying. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you've possibly learned something from this as well. And if you have, then make sure to leave a like. And that's really it from me. So thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.